Wouldn't it be incredible to wake up a millionaire overnight?
Oh, absolutely.
Hit the jackpot, become some kind of sensation, or launch a wildly successful business without really breaking a sweat.
That's the dream, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
That powerful, almost universal dream, that little whisper of a get-rich-quick fantasy promising a shortcut.
Yeah,
Well, captivates so many of us.
it does.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Today's deep dive is really for you, the listener, who wants to, cut through all the noise and understand the real mechanics of wealth. We're looking at the sources you sent us.
Hmm.
Our mission is pretty clear. We're diving headfirst into why those fast lanes to fortune are so appealing, peel back the layers, and then crucially contrast them with what actually builds lasting wealth, that quieter path.
And what's really fascinating looking at your sources is how our brains seem wired to prefer those immediate rewards. It's this preference that often blinds us to the true odds,
Yeah.
and it pulls us away from the more sustainable, proven paths. So we'll explore the psychological traps and the stark statistical realities behind these choices, help you see past the illusion.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into that illusion then, because it really is everywhere. We've all scrolled past the headlines, right?
Yeah.
Seen the viral stories, maybe even heard friends talking excitedly about the next big thing. But when you look closely, really look at the data from your sources, these common get-rich-quick paths are just, statistically, they're incredibly unreliable. What's the first one that usually comes to mind?
Oh, without a doubt, it's got to be the lottery ticket.
The classic.
It's the ultimate sort of everyman's fantasy, isn't it? You walk into a store, spend a few bucks on a piece of paper, and for that brief moment, you dream.
Hmm.
The appeal is huge. Immediate gratification, no special skill needed, no education barrier, and just that alluring promise of instant wealth without changing your lifestyle. It's a powerful siren song. Draws millions in.
It really is. Almost irresistible for a lot of people. But what do the numbers and our sources actually tell us about the likelihood of that dream, coming true?
Well, the reality is, it's stark. Let's put it that way. The odds of hitting a major lottery jackpot are just astronomically low.
Like, how low are we talking?
We're talking something like 1 in 28 million,
Wow.
which is roughly 0.00000035%. Tiny. Yet, as your sources point out, you've got over 160 million Americans buying tickets every year.
That's incredible participation for those odds.
It really is. And it highlights a couple of really potent psychological traps. First, there's something called availability bias.
Availability bias.
Yeah.
I think I get the gist, but maybe break that down for us a little.
Sure. So availability bias is basically a mental shortcut. We overestimate how likely something is just because examples of it pop into our heads really easily.
Okay.
So with the lottery, the media only ever shows the winners, right? The big smiles, the giant
Sure,
check.
you never see the losers.
Exactly. You rarely, if ever, hear about the millions and millions of losing tickets. So our perception of how common winning is gets totally skewed. We see the exception, not the rule.
That makes perfect sense. We're only seeing the highlight reel, not the endless bloopers reel.
Precisely.
And when you say 1 in 28 million, our brains kind of struggle to really grasp that scale, don't they? How should we think about odds that low, rationally?
Well, that's the second trap, really. It's poor probability understanding. For most of us, there isn't a huge emotional difference or intuitive feel between, say, 1 in 1,000 and 1 in a million.
Right, they both just feel like long shots.
Exactly. But mathematically, the difference is monumental. It's the difference between a slim chance and, well, virtually no chance at all. And what's even more sobering, and this is a key point from your sources,
Yeah.
about 1/3 of lottery winners actually go bankrupt within just a few years.
Whoa, wait, 1/3? Go bankrupt.
Yeah. The dream, for many, quickly turns into a nightmare. Often it's due to a lack of financial literacy or just sudden, unmanageable lifestyle changes.
Wow, that is a brutal reality check. Suggests that even if you do beat those insane odds, the problems might just be starting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on from the lottery, which is about instant transformation of your bank account.
Mhm.
What about transforming yourself into an icon, maybe?
The celebrity dream.
Yeah, the allure of celebrity, especially now in our hyper-connected world, it feels like the ultimate level up overnight. We see influencers, musicians, actors just seemingly blow up in a blink,
It looks that way.
driven by social media, celebrity worship.
Yes.
It looks so effortless, fame and fortune.
It definitely looks effortless, but the reality is kind of similar to the lottery in just how unlikely it is. Your sources suggest the odds of becoming a celebrity are roughly 0.021%,
Okay, still tiny.
which is about 1 in 4.7 million. And this is where another really powerful cognitive bias kicks in, survivorship bias.
Survivorship bias. Okay, that sounds like it's related to what we just discussed with the lottery, only seeing the winners.
Exactly right. Survivorship bias is that logical error where we focus only on the things that made it, like only looking at the planes that returned from a battle and forgetting to analyze the ones that didn't.
Gotcha.
We only see the handful of successful individuals who make it through. Their stories get polished, publicized. We never see the countless others who faced years of rejection, struggle, hidden work,
The grind.
the grind, and often gave up or just failed to break through. Their journey isn't glamorous, so it's not talked about. It's easy to mistake their overnight success for something it wasn't. Usually, it was years of unseen effort.
Huh. So my dream of becoming an overnight TikTok dance sensation might be a bit ambitious then.
Let's just say the statistics in your sources suggest investing in some good dance shoes might be a better long-term bet than banking on viral fame as your financial strategy.
Fair enough. But that leads us to another similar dream, right? Becoming a professional athlete. That's a fantasy that often starts young, fueled by passion, maybe incredible talent. Think about scholarships, NIL money now.
Name, image, likeness deals, yeah. Big change for college athletes.
Right, allowing them to earn from their brand. Then there are big endorsements, playing a sport you love for millions. It seems so inspiring. Discipline, dedication.
It absolutely is inspiring, and the discipline involved is profoundly admirable, no question. However, purely from a financial planning view, relying on athletics as your main path to wealth, it's incredibly risky.
Because the odds are just so low again.
Extremely low, extremely rare to reach that professional level. Let's take the NBA, for example, which your sources highlight. The odds of making it to the NBA, about 0.00032%.
Wow. 0.00032.
Which is roughly 1 in 31,000. These are minuscule chances, even for really talented, dedicated people. So while passion and discipline are fantastic life skills you get from sports, the financial outcome, rarely guaranteed for the vast majority.
That really puts it into perspective. It's a testament to dedication, sure, but it's a financial plan for the average person.
Terrible. Pretty much.
Okay, so we've looked at these incredible long shots, the lottery, the fame lottery, maybe the genetic lottery for sports. But what about taking matters into your own hands?
Yeah.
Building something.
Entrepreneurship.
Exactly. Many believe entrepreneurship is the antidote to these crazy long odds. What do the sources say about the reality there? Is starting a successful business a genuinely reliable path, or does it have its own illusions and risks?
That's a great question. And entrepreneurship is different because it genuinely does offer potential for significant wealth and personal fulfillment too. But it's far from a get-rich-quick scheme.
Still tough odds.
The stats for success are still quite challenging, yes. Your sources put the odds of starting a successful business at about 0.05%, so roughly 1 in 2,000.
Okay, significantly better than the others, but still.
Still a very narrow path, yeah. And it demands immense effort, resilience. The failure rates are stark. About 20% of businesses fail in year 1.
1 in 5 gone already.
Then 50% are gone by year 5, and a staggering 65% fail by year 10.
Those numbers are sobering. Really highlights that even with a brilliant idea, relentless hard work, success is far from guaranteed. Sounds like a long, tough journey for most.
Precisely. And this is why the sources stress a critical point, one that really reframes that entrepreneurial dream. Don't chase it purely as a money grab.
Yeah.
The most successful businesses, they aren't built just on chasing quick riches. They're built on solving real problems with authentic passion.
The passion fuels you through the tough times.
Exactly. That's what sustains entrepreneurs through the inevitable failures, the setbacks, the long hours, the constant stress that most people never see. Without that deep drive, that genuine problem to solve, the odds of navigating those early, really tough years are even worse. It's more of a calling than a cash grab, you know?
Right. So what does this all mean for us, for you listening, after dissecting these paths? It really sounds like these easy or fast ways are, but.
Odds stacked impossibly high.
They tap into our deepest desires for quick success, that emotional payoff. But the reality is just this brutal landscape of statistical improbability. And often, even if you win, it's a different kind of struggle.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you see a clear pattern from your sources, right? These routes offer a high emotional payoff, that thrilling dream. But statistically, they deliver extremely low financial returns.
Yeah.
They cleverly leverage our desire for speed, for novelty, for instant gratification. Rather than focusing on substance or consistent, deliberate effort, it's an emotional hook, much more compelling than it is practical financially.
That's a perfect segue, because now we need to shift gears quite dramatically. From the illusory to what your sources show is the consistently reliable path to wealth investing.
The less glamorous route.
Maybe less glamorous, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the flashing lights of a lottery winner or the fame of a movie star, but it has something far more valuable, more compelling. A proven track record, backed by decades of historical data.
Let's talk numbers here, because this is where the story gets really compelling. We're not talking about wild guesses or dreams anymore. We're talking about the quiet, relentless power of consistency.
Yeah, tell us about that consistency. What does the data show?
Well, if we look at historical data, specifically the S&P 500, which, just for clarity, is an index tracking about 500 of the biggest U.S. companies.
Right, a broad market measure.
Exactly. Since 1957, it's averaged about a 10.9% annual return.
Okay, 10.9%.
And even after you account for inflation, which eats away at your purchasing power over time, that's still an impressive average of around 6.8% per year.
Still pretty solid.
But what's even more powerful, and a key insight from the sources, is looking at the long term. Over any 40-year rolling period, the average return has been remarkably consistent, still hovering around 11%.
Wow, over any 40 years.
Any 40-year stretch. Inflation adjusted, those long-term returns consistently land in that robust 6-7% per year range. This isn't some fluke, it's a historical trend.
That consistency is just... It's mind-boggling when you compare it to the lotteries. What was it? 0.0000035% chance.
Exactly. Or the other long shots we discussed.
It feels like the universe is almost shouting the answer at us about what genuinely works. And this brings us to the real magic, doesn't it? Compounding power.
Ah, yes.
It's not some complex secret. It's just basic math working relentlessly over time. The sources highlight that by simply saving and investing, say 25% of your gross income.
Which is a significant amount, requires discipline.
It does, but it's achievable for many with planning. Doing that consistently, you can realistically allow your investments to grow enough to replace 100%, maybe even more of your income in retirement.
And this isn't a fantasy. It's not a lottery ticket.
No, it's a mathematical reality that has worked for millions of ordinary people for decades.
And that's precisely the power of it. It's demonstrable. Compounding just means your money earns money.
And then that money starts earning more money.
Exactly. Creating that exponential growth curve over time. It's often called the eighth wonder of the world, and for good reason. It's the silent, steady engine of genuine, sustainable wealth creation.
Okay, so if this path is so consistently effective, so demonstrably powerful, why doesn't everyone just do it?
Ah, the million-dollar question.
Right. Why are so many people still chasing the lottery dream or the influence of fantasy, even knowing the odds?
Yeah.
What are the hurdles, the psychological blocks, according to your sources, stopping people from just embracing this proven approach?
It's a critical question, and it really comes back to our deep-seated human psychology again. First off, let's be honest. Patience is profoundly unsexy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Investing requires a long-term view, right? A commitment to delayed gratification.
Mhm.
And we are just naturally wired to prefer immediate rewards over future ones. We want that instant feedback.
Totally agree. Unsexy is the perfect word for patience in our world today. It won't break the internet, but it will reliably build your bank account over time. So what are some ways our brains try to trick us out of that long-term view? And are there any mental strategies or hacks from the sources to help us overcome that urge for instant gratification?
Well, our brains crave stimulation, novelty. The idea of just making boring, consistent contributions can feel anticlimactic.
Yeah, not very exciting day to day.
Right. So to combat this, the sources suggest focusing not just on the huge outcome decades away, but on the process itself. Maybe celebrate small savings milestones, track your progress, visually see the graph going up.
Gamify it a bit.
Sort of. Or even just frame it differently in your mind. Think of it as buying future freedom instead of just saving money. Making it personal, connecting it to deep goals, that can help bridge that patience gap.
Okay, that makes sense. What else gets in the way?
The second big hurdle, social media distortions. We are just constantly bombarded with these stories, right? Overnight crypto millionaires, influencers making fortunes seemingly out of thin air.
Yeah, it looks so easy online.
And it creates wildly unrealistic expectations about how wealth is actually built. It makes the steady, consistent path of investing seem dull, slow, maybe even inadequate in comparison. It sets up this unfair comparison, making consistent action feel less exciting, even though it's far, far more effective for most people.
That's a powerful point about comparison culture. It's hard not to feel like you're falling behind when everyone else online seems to be winning big, even if it's just, a curated highlight reel.
Exactly. And then finally, a huge one, emotions often derail us.
Fear and greed.
Fear and greed. They are incredibly powerful forces in financial markets. They lead people to make irrational decisions, buying high when everyone's excited and euphoric, selling low when panic sets in during a downturn.
The exact opposite of what you should do.
Precisely. And these emotional responses prevent so many people from just sticking to a consistent long-term plan. Successful investing really requires that emotional discipline to just stay the course, tune out the noise.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for me, and I think it's kind of the core takeaway from all the sources we looked at.
Mm-hmm.
This slow and steady approach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's undeniably less flashy. There's no instant viral fame, but it has consistently delivered for decades.
That's the data.
It's the tortoise winning the race again and again and again.
Yeah.
But so many of us are still fixated on the hare, watching it sprint off and inevitably crash. It really feels like, as you said, the universe is giving us a clear, undeniable answer about what works.
And it raises that profound question, doesn't it? Why do we so often overlook what consistently works for what rarely ever does?
Yeah.
It comes down to valuing that perceived excitement over actual effectiveness. The central lesson, reinforced across all the sources you provided, is just crystal clear. Wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint.
Marathon, not a sprint. Got it.
Lottery tickets, celebrity fame, pro sports, they're gambles. Incredible odds against you, and often, even if you win, there are major pitfalls. But consistent investing, paired with unwavering patience, discipline, that has worked for millions of ordinary people for decades, building genuine, lasting wealth.
And if you need a real-world, living example of this proven path, look no further than someone like Warren Buffett, right?
Perfect example.
He didn't win the lottery. He didn't become a viral sensation. He certainly didn't sign some huge sports contract. He achieved immense multi-generational wealth.
How? Through decades of consistent, disciplined, long-term investing.
Exactly. He's the living embodiment of embracing that patient compounding power.
And that's the fundamental truth, really. True wealth doesn't primarily come from luck or fleeting fame. It comes from ownership, discipline, and the incredible compounding power of time. It's about building a solid foundation, not chasing a shooting star.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now, armed with this deeper understanding from your sources? Well, it means you have a clear choice. You can keep chasing the illusion, that fantasy of instant riches, knowing the odds are astronomically against you, and that even winning often brings its own set of challenges. Or you can embrace the proven path.
The steady path.
The steady, consistent, disciplined journey of investing that has worked reliably, predictably, for millions of others. One offers a fleeting dream, the other offers a tangible, predictable future.
So maybe the provocative thought to leave you with is this. Given the clear data, the psychological insights we've just explored, what's one small, consistent action you could start taking, maybe even this week, to shift from that fantasy of get rich quick to the reality of get wealthy steadily?
Good question.
And maybe even think beyond money. How can that power of compounding, consistent small efforts, yielding significant long-term results? How could that apply to other areas of your life? Where else are you trying to build something meaningful?
Like your health, your skills, relationships.
Exactly. Think about the investments you make there. How could steady, patient effort transform those areas too? Something to mull over.